I think if I hold it in my left hand, it feels better. So let's try that. Oh, nearly. Oh, so close. Definitely feels better. Oh, actually, before I mess that one up, or like disturb that slide. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 meters. Now I'd say 7. 1, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, 7 meters. So 21 feet. That slide. I always end up with rocks under my feet. Gotta commit. I'm not committing. Not going fast enough actually. Alright, keep trying. Yeah, that's better. It's good to practice at holding this thing, you know. So close. The other thing I don't like about the Sherman is that you need your hands to open the pedals. They're too thin to do it with your feet. With a 16x you can, and it's way easier. It's super convenient. Oh, the tilt back got me. I could have gone backwards there, but it tilted back so hard that it just bucked me off. This doesn't normally have the tilt back problem so severely, but I am riding in soft mode, which is, it lets it tilt more. And the reason I do is because my Sherman has an issue. It started making this vibration noise. I've got a video of it, I might upload it. And it, yeah, it sounds weird. And when I heard that, I was like, nah, I'm not riding this thing anymore, you know? What if it fails? So I started riding my 16x again. And then my 16x malfunctioned. So I had no choice. It was either ride this or ride no EUC at all. Drive a car, you know, take the bus. So I decided to give it a shot, and it's still, I found it was still doing it from time to time, but not always. Like I would be riding and it's all of a sudden it would make that noise again. And when it does, you can actually feel it vibrating. So it's not very it doesn't inspire much confidence in terms of riding this thing, you know. But then I found that if I switch it to soft mode, it goes away. And now it did it once for like a second and that's it. It's like never done it, pretty much. And it's yeah, it seems alright, you know, hasn't had any issues. But I'm stuck in soft mode. So I don't mind it though. It looks better on camera as well, I think, because when you accelerate and brake, you lean more. So there's that. But it's a bit like, in terms of stability, it can buck like just what happened before, you know. It leans too much sometimes. Alright, I'll try a bit of a faster one. Oh, I'll turn some music on. To my stereo, but I'll check it out in a sec. In the slow-mo videos you can see it flapping around. Alright, let's see what happens. So I'll try turning it back on. Ah, that was it. Yeah! Woo! I was worried there. Oh, had me worried. Come on, let's do this. Ah, man, a bit better. Not really. That was better. Felt nice. Rocks on my pedals. You gotta really, you gotta twist enough so that you start sliding sideways. look, it's still there. I'm still up. Well, the Sherman was still up. Alright. Yeah, I'm just saying that then. Actually told me the advice I needed to do it properly. I'll try it again. Yeah, that's better. Better. Yeah, this feels better. It's different doing it with this selfie stick, but with some practice it'll feel the same. Made me choke on the smoke, on the dust. That should be a good one. What the fuck? Oh well. You just hear the sound of pure gravel and tire. Knobby tire and gravel. What the? What's going on? Alright, let me see this stereo situation. I'm just gonna chill here for a bit, and I just want to say a few things about the Sherman. Oh, I just want to say a few things about my EUCs. So share my opinions on my two EUCs. I've got the Sherman and the KS16x. So I'll tell you how I feel about those two and how they compare. Where's my damn phone again? Oh, there it is. Alright guys, so just out here in the park, just chilling. Got my Sherman down here, my stuff there. So yeah, like I said, I've got the 16x and the Sherman, and when I first got the 16x, I loved it, but it was my first EUC, so it took me a little bit to actually learn to love it. At first I didn't like it that much. It was like a struggle to ride, and even though, you know, when you first learn to ride, you can ride, but I mean, you can balance on it, but you're not really riding properly. You're kind of like struggling to get from A to B. And yeah, so once I did get used to it though, I fell in love with it. It's, you know, it's super powerful, way more powerful than my my electric skateboard that I had before that. So like I told you guys, I went from e-scooters to e-skateboards to EUCs in that order. My first e-scooter was the Dualtron Ultra, a fast one, and then I got the skateboard, got a few, ended up with a really expensive one worth about 3,000 Australian dollars, even more. It was like 3,500, almost as much as the Sherman. And then after that expensive skateboard, I got my 16x. And when I learned to ride that properly, like once I learned to turn tightly, it was all over for the skateboard, you know. The skateboard it's ridiculous, you know, like it's so where do I start? You know, the tiny wheels, the awkward form factor, like when you're trying to use it to get from A to B, you know, then you have to carry the thing, you know, it doesn't even compare. But anyway, so I got the 16x and I enjoyed it, like I said, very much, very much, and loved it more than anything, you know. But then I got the Sherman, and at first I didn't like the Sherman. When I first rode it, I was like, wow, this thing's heavy. It's hard to turn, it just feels wrong, you know, like this massive heavy thing. And I just kept riding my 16x more. But then my 16x tire popped. Well, it just went flat. And then I had to ride the Sherman. I had no choice. And in doing so, I found that the more miles I logged on it, the lighter it felt. You know, it's like, I mean, it's weird. It's crazy how different it feels now. Back then it felt like this, just so heavy, you know, like it just doesn't want to turn. And then, but then the 16x felt nice and nimble. But then the more miles I did on it, the lighter it felt, just gradually, bit by bit, just lighter and lighter, until it got to the point where it felt perfect. And it's funny because all I did was ride the Sherman during that time. The 16x sat there with a flat tire, and I rode this thing so long. Like I went on these huge trips to the beach like every day for a while, you know. It was crazy, 100 kilometers plus every day. And I got so used to the Sherman that when I finally fixed that flat tire on the 16x, it felt like this piece of paper, like a toy, just ridiculously unstable, you know. It's not just for going in a straight line, but for going into corners and for slides. It's when you corner, when you're on the road going fast and you want to go around fast, or around a fast corner, or like you want to go fast around the corner relative to the corner, you know, the sharper the corner, the slower you need to go to be going fast for that corner. But you know what I mean. When you want to turn hard, you need to lean your body like a motorbike, you know. And the Sherman does have the issue of the low pedals, that's true, but that's the only bad thing, and the low roll bar. So, but what I'm saying is that when you lean the Sherman, it's like a motorbike. It just stays stable. Whatever angle you want to lean at, it stays there, and you just go with it. You don't need to force anything. Easy, you know. With the 16x, it flaps from side to side like a piece of paper in the wind, literally. It doesn't want to stay at a set angle when you're leaning into the corner. It just wants to go everywhere. It wants to go back up right, actually, but it kind of tends to flap a bit. And the only way you can lean hard is by holding the EUC with your legs, holding that angle in place, you know, fighting against the EUC that just wants to flap around. It's amazing the difference, you know. It's crazy. Like, I don't even want to ride that thing anymore, you know. It doesn't make sense. If this thing had higher pedals, it would be a dream, you know. Sorry about the freight train, but if this thing had higher pedals, I can only, oh fuck it. So I was saying that, yeah, if the Sherman had higher pedals, I'm interested to know how it would feel, because that's one of the bad things about it, but it might be a good thing, I don't know. So yeah. And apart from that, I don't know what else I should say, because what I'm trying to get at is the EUCs are so different that it depends what you're used to at the time, you know. Once you get used to one and then another, then you can kind of compare. But for someone that hasn't ridden either one, it's hard to say what's the best one for them, you know, because you kind of have to ride them both for a long time, not just once, and then you can say which one's better, you know. Because if I gave up on the Sherman, imagine if I returned it in the first couple of weeks when I didn't like it, I never would have known how amazing this thing is, you know. It's incredible. I can't believe it. I want to sell my 16X and buy another Sherman, to be honest. I don't want to ride the 16X, and I need another EUC because I do so many miles that it's better to have two wheels. You don't want to always be riding the same wheel, you know. After a year or two, it's going to have so many miles on it, and it's good to have a backup wheel in case one has a problem. So yeah, that's my thoughts on the 16X versus the Sherman. Don't get me wrong, the 16X is an amazing device. It's an amazing device, you know. I loved it to death. It was incredible. Words can't describe how much I loved that thing. It was mind-blowing. I was blown away, you know. Because when I first got it, I was only going like, because it was my first EUC, right? When I first started learning, you know, I was going 20 kilometers per hour and it felt dangerous, you know, I felt scared. But I knew that this thing could go 50 kilometers per hour. So in my mind, I was like, wow, you know, am I ever gonna go that fast? You know? But then when I slowly picked up the speed, you know, by the time I was going 50 top speed, it was just, I was blown away by how cool this thing is, you know, because when I first got it, you know, I was going slow on it and it was kind of fun, but I hadn't experienced its full potential, obviously. And then when I could, and not just the top speed, it's the acceleration. It just takes off like a rocket. An amazing thing. But the Sherman just makes it look like a toy. And now it's incredible. How can one thing be so amazing and then another thing is so much more amazing that it makes the other amazing thing look just totally dull, you know? Like, I mean, not totally dull, don't get me wrong, but wow, the power of the Sherman, it's another level of machine, you know? Well, like I said, the 16X is more of a toy in comparison. This is a real machine. This is a beast, you know? It's like what you would see in a zombie movie. But yeah, I don't want to ramble too much. in conclusion, they're both completely amazing, but the Sherman is just that much better. It's so much better that it makes the 16X look lame. That's my opinion. The 16X is still very nimble, like it has that ultra nimbleness to it, you know, that you might want, but I don't think it's worth it, you know, to sacrifice all that range and power for that little bit of nimbleness. Where the Sherman, it can still turn tight, you know, you just gotta get used to it. When you first get it, it feels like you turn like a boat, but slowly but surely it just gets better and better, you know, it just takes more time. I think it's to do with muscle memory, because, or yeah, something like that. Because the more you ride it, the lighter it feels. Maybe it's just those little muscles that are needed for like nimble control, you know. Once you slowly work on those, it just slowly gets lighter. So yeah, they're my thoughts. Don't know if you can hear that, but there's a big festival over there. Crazy, and it's got the specs to match, you know. This thing will get you out of trouble and get you into trouble as well. This thing looks awesome in my book. When you see this thing, to be honest, I've seen very few of these things in real life. I've seen like 3 ever. I've been all over, no, I've been to lots of different countries, and I've seen 3 EUCs in my whole life, and they've all been in Adelaide, and they've been lame ones. They've been like, you know, 9 bots or whatever, just those toy EUCs. But the times I've seen a good EUC is when I see this Sherman in the reflection. When I go past like a shop window, or like when I'm heading towards it especially, then I see it for a second and I think, damn, this thing looks sick. You know, like I didn't even know how good it looked. It looks different in person, you know. But yeah, these things look awesome. Some people say they look geeky, but not in my book. I think these are beyond cool. That's why they can't comprehend how they look. People that say that. Something that's just too cool for this world, you know? Yeah, so like I said, they've got the power, the speed, the range, the fun factor, the look, and they've got the size, the smallest thing out of all of them. They might be heavy, like this thing might be heavy, but it's still way more compact than my skateboard, which was much lighter but much more cumbersome to carry around. Much more. Carrying it under your shoulder, like with those dirty wheels touching your clothes. Nah, this thing, you pull the trolley handle and it's like it weighs nothing. You can carry it with one finger, you know. It's amazing. It's got everything. It's just beyond belief. I can't believe how good these things are. And the other thing it's got is the off-road ability. The best out of all of them. Better than a scooter, better than a skateboard, obviously. Arguably better than a bike, or better than most bikes for sure. Yeah, to do a good drift, you gotta be going at least 18 miles an hour. So that's 30 kilometers per hour.